I go back and forth with conspiracies. I have a love-hate relationship with conspiracies. I love some of them. Some of them are fascinating. Some of them I'm like, okay, what the fuck happened there? You know? And then some of them I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. I mean, when I was younger, I used to think about it. But then I think when I had a kid, didn't have enough time for that.
Got no time for nonsense. Time becomes very precious.
And this becomes food how?
Yeah, exactly. Not over here worrying about the fucking Illuminati. I don't even know what that means. What's the Illuminati?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm busy. I gotta go. But I get how people get sucked into that rabbit hole. You know?
Yeah, no, I can see it.
I went into a rabbit hole the other day, but with aliens. I watched 3 alien documentaries in a row. I watched this one on Bob Lazar, who was a guy who claims that he worked at Area 51. It's very compelling, very interesting.
Is that the top? That's the one you would suggest?
Yes, that's the one I would suggest. It's called Area 51. Bob Lazar, Area 51, and Flying Saucers, I think it's called. It's on iTunes.
I'm gonna write it down.
It's fucking good.
Take notes.
Because there's some things that this guy knew that it's almost certain that he worked where he said he worked, that he worked at Area 51. The question becomes, he told all the truth about all these things that have since been proven to be true. Weird.
So he gave first cut at those truths, right?
Yeah. Well, he did it a
cool.
long time ago too. He came out about this like 30 years ago. There was Nevada
I think
television.
I've heard about this. Yeah.
Bob Lazar. He was worried about his life. Here's what happened. Apparently, the guy was working in this area doing research for whatever the government wanted him to do at Area 51. What he did there, who knows? He gets fired from this job and then takes his friends to this viewing position in the mountains where they can see them flying saucers. He was telling them, they fly them out of this base. I'm going to bring you guys. We're going to watch it. They videotaped this on old school VHS tape. You can see these flying saucers flying around Area 51. And he says these are not being piloted by aliens. These are being piloted by human beings. But that these are real devices. These things are real. It's a real vehicle. And they got this real vehicle from some other civilization from somewhere in space. And they had 9 of them. It sounds like total horseshit when you hear it. But then you watch the video, and so the questions come like, well, how did he know that they were going to be flying these things up there? How did he know they were going to do them on Wednesdays? How did he know where to be, where he could see it? How did he know? How did he know about the biometric data? How did he know about element 115? He was talking about this element, this man-made element, that it's a real element that they've now identified. But when he was talking about it in 1980, no one knew what the fuck he was talking about, or 1984, or whatever it was when he first got interviewed about this. So when this guy is bringing this stuff up today, and people are looking back at all the different things that he said that have since been proven to be true, especially the existence of Area 51, the government had to, at some point in time in the 90s, they had to say that they owned the base and say that it did in fact exist. The top secret area, or the there's a do not enter zone where they'll pull you over and arrest you if you get past a certain spot. They wanted to broaden that area so people couldn't be watching their crafts fly around like Bob Lazar was. And when they did that, when they expanded the territory, that's when they had to actually admit that the base was real. So he was proven to be correct on so many different things that he said, like he explained how they get him out there, explained what the research was, and he said that they had these things that run on they manipulate gravity in some way, and they're very small because these aliens are very small little creatures, like a child, like a 8-10-year-old child. It makes you go, what the fuck, man? Like,
and so he talked about he saw them, he knew how they operated. Wow.
The things that he knows that are true, that turned out to be true, that how could he have known them if he didn't work at Area 51 are the most compelling aspects of it. And the fact that Area 51 was, at one point in time, by the government's take, it didn't exist. And then it was like a legend. And this was when he was talking about it. And so watching this documentary and seeing this guy 30 years later still basically saying exactly the same thing, but with a bunch of things have been proven
since. Yeah, that is intense.
It's a trip, man. I mean, if the government really did at one point in time have some craft that it got from another planet, what the fuck, man? But the thing is, like, how would we take that? How do you think people would take that? if they found out? How do you think they'd handle that? If they really knew there was something that was so sophisticated that it could visit us from another planet, it could be here in minutes, boom, land on the White House lawn, do whatever the fuck it wanted to. You couldn't even shoot it with bullets.
How would people take that? I think that people would just keep going on, like with every other scare.
You think so?
Yeah, I think, okay, there could be a meteor that's supposed to hit us, right?
Right.
I mean, how would people take it? I mean, that's what they're saying. They're saying it could happen.
I think it would be a fuck fest in the streets.
Yeah, but they say it could happen. I mean, you know,
if you saw one coming.
Yeah, but I'm saying not if you saw one coming, because you don't see the alien coming. If people realize that, yeah, these guys could show up, right? I don't know. I remember the conspiracy that remember that when there would be like these booklets of like Xerox stuff going on, like the one about AIDS and stuff like that. Remember that one? Yeah, that one had been going for a while.
The AIDS conspiracy,
Dr. Strecker's memorandum.
Oh yeah. Yeah, people used to hand those out, right?
Yeah.
They were trying to tell people that AIDS was a hoax.
Not a hoax, that it was like all this stuff. Remember,
that it was
I got
not
it.
A hoax, a government conspiracy. Yeah,
that had been way out for a while.
Yeah,
I remember I was making copies and passing along. That blew my mind.
Well, there was one doctor at one point in time that was trying to say that HIV does not cause AIDS. And we had him on way back in the day, early on. What was that guy's name? Duesberg, Dr. Peter Duesberg. Yeah, that's what it is. I just remembered it. He is a professor at the University of California, Berkeley, I believe. I think he's a biologist. And his take was that HIV does not cause AIDS. That what causes AIDS is a compromised immune system, and that HIV is actually a weak virus, and it shows up in the immune systems of people that are already compromised. That's why you're finding it in these people, that it's not the cause of their immune system being compromised, it's a symptom of it. And that what these people are really dying from is their whole system being fucked up by drugs. That either they're taking AZT, which destroys their body. You know, it was a cancer medication, like a chemotherapy that was so powerful, it was killing people quicker than the cancer was. And then they switched it over to using it with people that had AIDS. Because in the early days, they would call AIDS the gay cancer.
Right.
There was all these different, like they were trying to figure out what it was and what it did. And early on, this guy was saying this, and we had him on the podcast, and people got so mad. They were so mad. They're giving this guy a platform to spread his propaganda and his lies. And I was like, wow. But he is a professor, right? He has done like legitimate cancer research. He's, you know, I mean, don't you want to listen to him? And I wanted to get someone on to debate him, but nobody wanted to debate him. It was like trying to get someone to debate a Holocaust denier. Like nobody wants to give them the platform. Nobody wants to talk to them, which I understand. But those kinds of, I mean, it's very highly unlikely that all these doctors are incorrect and are hiding the fact that HIV, you know, and then now the fact that they've got these HIV medications that basically they can take people and make them HIV negative now, right? Didn't they have like a couple of people have tested HIV negative after new medications? Yeah, I don't know. I'm too stupid. Too stupid to understand what's really going on.
Yeah, that's for me. That I know that I'm not. Like when I watch some of those things, you know, some of them they'll like lead off with these statements, and we all know, and we know this. I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
there's too much to know.
Yeah.
How did we get in the subject of AIDS?
I don't know. We're talking about conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah,
and that was the one that that one when it was out back in what 89 or something, 88, when those little pamphlets were going around.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah.
Well, marijuana and conspiracies go together like cookies and milk.
Yeah.
Right. There's nothing like weed that starts your gears turning, and you start thinking. That's why a lot of people start thinking conspiracies are against them too. Right? You get high and you start thinking that the world's closing in on you. Everybody's watching you. Surveillance.
But you probably don't feel like that when you get high?
No, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I do sometimes. I kind of like it though. You know why I like it? Because it ends. And when it ends, you feel great. It's almost like a brutal brain workout. Like you go digging deep into your psyche and find out all the things you're scared of.
Right, yeah, no, it's like, it's work.
Yeah.
It's work. You've done a little work. You're like taking a look at yourself, go, oh, you know, I never thought about me from that angle before.
Yeah, I like to do it on
I better
planes.
clean up my,
Yeah, clean up your shit.